I hope you all are doing well, and the students who are taking ATX examination in June 22 exam session, or in September 22, or in December 22 and March 23, they are going to study this advanced taxation paper according to the Finance Act 2021. Very important thing, the students who are taking ATX exam from June 22 till March 23, they are actually going to prepare their ATX exam according to the Finance Act 2021, and this session, this orientation session is actually relevant to those students who are like taking ATX exam for these 4 exam sessions. The agenda for today's orientation introductory class is that to discuss about the ATX syllabus, which areas are covered and how it is examined actually. So now, before moving on, first of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Ziarana and I'm ACCA member. I worked for 4 years. I worked at KPMG's taxation department, and I'm also like teaching taxation, the financial reporting paper, and the advanced taxation paper for the last 9 years. And could you please mute yourselves? I would request to please mute yourselves. Thank you. So, like I'm actually teaching taxation and the advanced taxation and financial reporting since last 9 years at different ALPs of ACCA, and importantly this ATX course being taught by 2 tutors, like we share this ATX course, and the other tutor name is Sir Kambar Raza, who is like ACCA member and ICAW finalist and working as senior manager at Standard Chartered Bank, and like he also having experience of more than 14 years and teaching at different ALPs of ACCA. So that's the like introduction of the tutors, and few areas are covered by myself, and the other areas are covered by Sir Kambaraza. By the way, don't worry for that. We shall be sharing that which things covered by myself and which are the areas are gonna covered by Sir Kambaraza. Now, let's talk about the ATX paper format. ATX paper format, basically it comprises of 2 sections, section A and section B. And the total marks for section A are 60 marks, and for section B in total 40 marks. By the way, there are 4 questions in paper and all questions are compulsory. There are 2 questions in section A and 2 questions in section B. The first question in section A is of 35 marks and the other one is for 25 marks. And in section B, both questions have equal weightage of 20 marks each. So I repeat, there are basically 4 questions and 2 sections in exams, section A and B. Section A is comprises of 2 questions. Same case with the section B is of 2 questions. In section A, the first question is of 35 marks and second one is of 25 marks, whereas the section B questions are examined for 20 marks each. Another thing, for section A, in section A, there are 4 professional marks are available, same as like other papers of professional papers in ACCA, excluding SBL. Normally, each and every professional exam in ACCA have 4 professional marks. I'm just excluding SBL. And another thing, for section A specifically, there are 5 marks on ethics. Importantly, there is nothing new in ethics. Like there are some ethical threats are there, as we normally do study at SBR level in audit paper, but the thinking perspective is different for ATX. Here we like think like tax advisors, tax consultant, and we should also consider the ethical issues relating to taxation, like taxation matters of the clients. By the way, there are some guidelines and discussions which we shall be doing in normal exam session, in normal, like in while doing questions, while doing practice. But for the time being, just keep this in mind. There are 4 professional marks available in section A, as well as there are 5 marks which pertains to ethical areas. Now on the next slides, we shall be discussing that what exactly are the areas which examined in section A in each question, and what are the areas which are like examined in section B of the ATX exam. Okay, over here we have Atx Paper Format for section A. In very first question, which was of 35 marks, the relevant areas are like the income taxes, the capital gain tax, losses of individual persons, inheritance tax, and the tax planning. Whereas in question 2 of the section A, relevant areas are corporation taxes, corporation tax losses, groups with respect to group loss group, and another concept is capital gains group. So these types of discussions are examined in the other question. Another thing, overseas aspects, like if a company is a UK resident company and having a subsidiary in any other country, any subsidiary, any overseas branch as well. So these types of things are examined in the form of overseas aspects of taxation and tax planning. Let me guide you of one thing over here. It's not like that always these areas are examined in question 1, and it's not like that all these areas are always examined in question 2. They can be swapped actually. These areas can be asked for 25 marks, and these areas can be asked for 35 marks. So there is no restriction, there is no boundness on examiner. But importantly, mark this thing that one question pertains to the taxation of individual persons, like you and I, we earn income and pays taxes. And the other area is pertaining to the corporation. Let me repeat again. There are basically 2 areas which are examined in question 1 or question 2 in the section A. For surely one scenario pertains to the taxation of individual persons. It can be examined for 35 marks or it can be examined for 25 marks. And the second area is pertaining to the taxes of the company, like the corporation taxes. It can be examined either for 35 marks or for 25 marks. They can be swapped actually. And in section A, as just discussed on previous slide, 4 marks are there which are professional marks, and 5 marks are there on ethics. Another thing to add, there are 5 marks which are always there for value added tax. Now you will think that, are these gonna examined in question 1 or in question 2? So there is no restriction. These questions can be pertained to question 1 or for question 2 as well. But usually the professional marks, the ethics marks, and the value added tax, normally they are the part and parcel of the question number 1 of 35 marks. Normally, I'm not saying always. Professional marks, number 1, number 2, the ethical areas and issues, and number 3, value added tax. In fact, 14 marks of weightage is pertaining to section A, and these types of things can be asked in question number 1 or in question number 2 of section A, but normally and usually these are the part and parcel of the question number 1, which is examined for 35 marks in exam. Hope you guys are clear. In case of any queries, you may write in the chat box. Okay, now let's talk about the section B of the paper. In section B, as just discussed, there are 2 questions and both are compulsory of 20 marks each. And the relevant areas are income taxes, capital gain taxes, losses, inheritance tax, and value added tax. And for second question, the relevant areas are corporation tax and its losses, the group adjustments, again, the capital gain group or group loss groups, and the value added tax. Again, I'm just saying loudly, these areas again can be swapped. It's not like that examiner will always be asking about individuals taxation in question number 3, or again the areas are over here the same, the income taxes, individual person taxes, and the corporation taxes, and these can be swapped, like the things which I write in question number 3 can be asked in question number 4, and the areas which over here you can see are there for question 4, they can be asked in question number 3. The main theme is to cover the taxation of individuals like income taxes as well as the taxation of the company's corporation taxes. So you can see that section A and section B areas are same, but the difference is about the marks weightage which is available for section A and B. So here we just discussed the format of the ATX examination, and importantly, with respect to the professional marks, these are available by following the format reports, the report formats, the sequence of the answer, and the way you are presenting your answer. Let me guide you another thing, that if we talk about 35 marks question, so there are like 2 to 3 exhibits are there. What does it mean? Means exhibit means you would be having information in 2 to 3 different exhibits, and you would be using the information for answering your question. And for like 25 marks question and for 20 marks question, there are normally, if we link the scenarios, the exhibits to the pages, so it can be of 1 and quarter page question. So this is how you would be using information, by taking data from different exhibits, and you would be putting the same information while answering your question in exam. And after the discussion of the paper format, now let's discuss about the ATX syllabus. Interestingly, the whole of the taxation syllabus areas, I repeat, the whole of the F6 syllabus areas are here in ATX, and additionally 40% areas are new. Like you can say that if we talk about ATX paper, if ATX paper is of 100%, of which 60% are from taxation and 40% areas are new, which are not part and parcel of the TX syllabus. So 100% of TX knowledge and 40% new areas. So this is how ATX syllabus we have to study. But don't worry for that. In fact, even you have passed like taxation exam like 2 or 3 years ago, don't worry, we shall be recalling all of the areas of F6. It's not like that we are studying ATX and we are just covering the ATX things. It's not like that. The other tutor Sir Kambar and I both normally do cover each and every area of the syllabus, including the TX knowledge as well. Let's talk about ATX syllabus. The introduction and paper format we have already discussed on above slides. Value added tax, capital gain tax, inheritance tax, income taxes, corporation taxes, and some miscellaneous topics are there in the ATX syllabus. By the way, these are the separate topics. And if we recall few things with respect to value added tax, so VAT is an indirect tax which is levied upon the consumption of goods and services, and the end consumer is gonna pay the value added tax. As just marked over here, VAT is compulsory for at least 5 marks, which can be asked in question number 1 or it can be asked in question number 2. So for getting these 5 marks, we shall be studying this value added tax in very much details. Another area is with respect to the capital gain tax. Think, what is capital gain? Simply means the gain on disposal. At the same time, if we are gonna sell or transfer or gift any asset to any other person, if I'm giving my asset, if I'm selling my asset in a fiscal year, if there are gains, like I'm getting gain on disposal, this gain on disposal is termed as capital gain. At the same time, HMRC charged tax on me, and the tax name is capital gain tax. Capital gain tax is applicable for both the individual person as well as the companies. If I, being an individual person, dispose any asset, I would be paying the capital gain tax. And if any company is disposing any asset, we are talking about non-current assets. And if any company is disposing any non-current asset, so company would also be bearing taxes on the disposal and on getting any gain on disposal. Now, let's say instead of gains, there are losses. So what will happen? If I'm disposing my asset, any non-current asset, and getting any gain on that asset, so I have to pay capital gain tax. But what if I'm getting a loss on the disposal of any non-current asset? So at that time, I would be getting few reliefs from HMRC. Relief means my tax liability will go down. At time of gains, I would be paying tax. At time of losses, I would be getting relief from HMRC. The other syllabus area is inheritance tax. Normally in UK, when a person dies, his or her estate transfers to other persons, means that this at time of the transfer of the estate of deceased person to any other persons, at the same time inheritance tax is calculated and paid on the value of the estate of the deceased person. So that's very interesting topic, and I repeat, estate means the net assets of the deceased person. At time of death, if any tax is calculated and paid on the estate or net assets of the deceased person, that is inheritance tax. Income tax. Income tax means taxation of individual persons. For the taxation of individual person, we should know about the sources of income of an individual person, and basically there are like 6 sources. Mainly and broadly, there are 6 sources of income of an individual person. We can categorize as property income, employment income, interest income, dividend income, trading or business income, and the other one is pension income. So when we talk about the income taxes, It means we have to study all these things. Whenever we say the income taxes means the taxation of an individual person, and for the calculation of the income tax liability for the individual person, we should know about the sources of income first. And there are broadly and mainly 6 sources of income which an individual person can earn in a fiscal year, which are the property income, employment income, the trading income, dividend income, business or trading income, and the pension income. And we shall be covering all these things in very much details with respect to the each source. Yes, then relief will be recorded in books. For taxation purposes, we shall be accounting for the reliefs available in a fiscal year. Now, let's talk about the other one, the corporation taxes. The word corporation indicates the taxation of a company. As the objective of the company is to earn profits, and on such profits, company has to pay taxes then. So all of the taxes for a company are termed as corporation taxes. There are few sources for the company as well. As we just discussed the things, there are 6 sources of income for an individual person. Same case with the companies. Company also rented out the property and they get rental income. Company can also invest in loan notes and can earn interest income. So there can be property income for company, interest income for company, and let's say company actually invested in the shares of any other companies, so company would be getting the dividend income. Company is doing business, the main income from the main operations is business income. So in ATX syllabus, all things with respect to the individual person taxation and corporation tax, companies taxation, both are covered. Effectively, at serial 7, you can see that there are some other topics like foreign income and UK residency. I would be guiding you on each of these things: stamp taxes, shares buybacking, ethics, tax planning, and few other topics. Foreign income means if you are UK resident and you are getting income from any other country. So what are the tax implications in UK on the income earned from the overseas sources? So foreign income concepts are there to deal with these types of things, and the concept of UK residency, that by deciding whether a person is UK resident or not, he has to pay UK taxes or not. Is he gonna pay taxes in UK or has to pay tax on overseas income or not? So these types of questions are addressed by studying UK residency and foreign income concepts. Other thing, stamp duty and stamp duty land taxes. At time of buying shares, at time of buying land and building, so few taxes are also payable at time of buying shares or purchasing the land and building. So these things are covered in stamp duty and stamp duty land taxes. As discussed, the ethics area is examined for 5 marks in section A, either in question number 1 or either in question number 2. Tax planning, very interesting and very important with respect to exam. Tax planning is simply like if you have money in your hand and you want to start a business, but you don't know how to start a business. Like should we start a business as a sole trader or should we start a business via a company, by registering a company? So which option is feasible for you? So you go to a tax advisor and put your scenario. He will guide you that you should start your business being a sole trader or by registering a company via a company. What are the advantages or disadvantages of doing a business as a sole trader? And what are the advantages or disadvantages by doing a business as a via a company? So it's just an example to demonstrate about the tax planning thing, that what exactly is the meaning of the tax planning. It's not always the business startup decision making. Tax planning can be examined with respect to any area of the syllabus. Let's say uh, there could be a scenario. There is a person who is not in good health and about to die within next few years. So what will happen? What are the tax implications on the assets if we transfer the assets in life, or what are the tax implications if it does not transfer assets in life, and obviously at time of death automatically according to the will of the deceased person the asset would be transferred to other persons. So what are the implications if person transfer the assets in life or not transfer the assets in life? So these types of things can be examined in the tax planning areas. Now we can say that we know the ATX exam format. Total marks are 100. There are two sections. In section A there are two questions. In section B there are two questions. The areas of the section A are same, like 35 mark question and 25 mark question. The areas can be swapped with each other, and the areas of section B can also be swapped with each other. But important idea, in both sections there is a question for the corporation taxes and other question for individual person taxation like income taxes. Same case in section B, one question is for income taxes and one question is for corporation taxes. Then we discussed few things with respect to ATX syllabus. Now importantly, how we are going to deliver this syllabus. We are sharing this ATX course, and what is the methodology we adopt for delivering this course. Very importantly, you will get the pre-recorded lectures. Number 2, weekly plan for studying ATX, and like weekly or fortnightly query sessions. Let's say if you are getting registered with us, you will get the pre-recorded lectures. At the same time, you are having weekly plan and you can study ATX. Based on this planning, we'll be having fortnightly or weekly live session to respond your queries on the areas which covered as per this plan. Then WhatsApp support. You would be added to a WhatsApp group where you can ask your queries, your peers and tutors, the Circumbarraza, and I myself would be responding to your queries. Furthermore, the assignments. It's not like that you are just covering the things from the recorded lectures. You would be given a plan, the weekly plan, and you have to cover the things according to the topics mentioned in that plan. On the basis of this plan, we shall be conducting a fortnightly session mainly for responding the student queries, and obviously you would be added to a WhatsApp group where you can get in touch with the other peers, and tutors are there to respond to your queries. And we also like provide you assignments you would be solving at your own, and we'll submit, we'll check and respond to your assignments as well. Now, how you will get this course? Just go to scriberacademy.com. In the search bar, type ATX Advanced Taxation. This course will be open in front of you, and you can see, as just discussed on the slides, that what are the ATX syllabus areas. The same syllabus areas are in front of you, like the introduction and paper format. You can see the week-wise plan for covering ATX is also there. So upon registration, you will get the login ID and password. Then you can check what is the plan, what's included in the plan, how to do the things, how to cover the things for ATX. Then thereafter, each and every part of this syllabus is here. And the other question which normally comes in a student mind, that which areas are covered by Sir Kambar Raza and what areas are covered by myself. So let me guide you over this. The value added tax and the income tax, I would be covering these two, and rest of the areas like IST, capital gain taxes, the corporation taxes, all these are covered by Sir Kambar Raza. If you want to check, you can just go to this website ATX, and then there is a video available in chapter number 1 as preview. You can watch this video without login credentials. You can watch this video because it's like a demo video. And I would appreciate if any questions are from your side, you can write in the chat box. And after this session, if still you feel any query, you may like contact to our student coordinator, and you can ask your queries. Any questions from you guys, please? All right, my dears. See you soon in the next session. Till the time, take care and bye. Allah Hafiz.